Ahoy my hearties, and welcome to my latest Let's Play of Port Royale 3, which is a pirate economic political game. It's very good. I've seen a couple of videos and trailers of it, and I'm very excited to play this. This is my third time actually recording this. I'll get into why a bit later on, but I know how much you guys hate it when I blabber on in the menu screen, so I'm just going to go right into the campaign, which there are two. So there's the trader campaign and also the adventurer campaign. We're going to be doing both, but for this episode I'm just going to be doing the trader tutorial missions, which is about half an hour. So in this campaign you will learn how the economic system in Port Royale 3 works. This includes the principle of supply and demand, commodity trading and commodity production. You'll learn how to lead a town to prosperity, which factors determine your citizens' satisfaction, and how to set up automatic trade routes. Alrighty, so I'm just going to leave with the default name Stephen. It doesn't really bother me. We can't seem to change the genders. I'm not exactly sure why, but we are male and we want the introduction to be on definitely. And we can choose from some rather abysmal flags. There's no like Triforce flag or anything of that sort. There's 3 skull and bones, but what the hell is that? There's another one that's pretty what the hell is this? There's some really weird ones, but we're just going to go with that one. Looking pretty badass, probably the best one there are. And let's just go ahead and start the game.
Our story begins in June of 1561, in the bustling city of Cadiz on Spain's Atlantic coast. It is from here that many set out to brave the challenges of a new world. For it is said that beyond the Atlantic, fame and fortune awaits the fearless and the brave. It is this hope which one day leads a young man to embark on a long journey after a number of hapless years. But hope has a most powerful enemy, fate. And so it comes to pass that the ship is beset by a terrible storm, but a few days' journey from the New World. The storm damages the ship severely, and a huge wave sweeps the young man overboard. The next morning, he awakes, senses befuddled, and all hope gone. But this time, fate proves gracious, for the accident took place on the busy trade route between St. Augustine and Port Royal. So the young man, clinging to life with the last remains of his strength, is rescued by a Spanish merchant ship. Delighted that they were able to rescue a fellow countryman, the ship's sailors listen avidly to news from the home they have not seen in so long. An elderly passenger mingles with the sailors, and his eyes light up when he hears of the young man's origins, for he too is from Cadiz. His name is Pedro de Vega, and he is the Spanish Viceroy's commercial attaché. It is at his side that the young man enters the new world, breathing deeply of its heady scent. Here, his dream of a better life will be fulfilled. Of that he is sure, and his newfound friend promises to help him along.
And so the story begins. The loading screens are very short.
Once again, allow me to welcome you to Port Royale, the seat of the Spanish Viceroy here in the New World. I will help you settle into your new city more quickly. I have had a small ship anchored in the harbor for you. You will find the city's most important buildings near the market square. Click them to perform different actions. There you will also find your first warehouse. I will get back to you once you've sold your first goods in another city.
Okay, you are new to Port Royale. Pedro de Vega, the commercial attaché of the Spanish Viceroy, will give you some advice and practical help. You will find the town's most important buildings near the port. Click them to perform different actions. There you will also find your warehouse. In addition, your first vessel is at anchor in the port. Next destination, familiarize yourself with the basic principles of the controls. Sail your convoy to another town and sell the goods carried on board your convoy. We have some tips as well, which is rather cool, especially because this is a tutorial like mission. And we have a movie as well, but I'm not going to do them in this video because I've already played this twice and I think they're rather boring just for a Let's Play, just to watch for you guys. So here is our little town of Port Royale, our little island that we have over here. And this is all in the Caribbean. We can explore all of this area. The map is pretty decent. There's lots and lots of towns to unlock and cities and places that we can go to. So currently Port Royale is under Spanish command. There's British, there's the French and the Dutch as well. It seems like the English and the Dutch are at war together. So anyway, let's just head over and tell our guy we just right click our little ship just to go wherever he wants. We can speed time up as well, and Port-au-Prince, I don't know if you guys can see, but they want marijuana. Quite amusing. Let's just go to Port-au-Prince then. Head over there, and we can trade the goods that we have. What do we have? Yes, we got rum. Let's see if anyone actually wants rum. Over here on the left, this little like icon on each city is what they want. So it doesn't seem like anyone wants actual beer. Oh, not beer, but rum. Does it? Nope. They want ham. Is that ham? Meat shorts. Okay. So let's just go to. So as you can see, that means they're short on whatever that is what they want. So anyway, let's just go back into the trading menu, and let's go to rum, and we got to sell that. Let's sell all of it. There we go. So now our popularity in Port-au-Prince has increased, which is great.
Now that you know how to transport goods between cities, you can do me a favor. Please send your convoy to Port-au-Prince and buy 100 barrels of sugar. We need this sugar here in Port Royale for rum.
Fantastic. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the voiceover and the guy on the right that's talking to us, they're not synced up together because this game is made for Germans, I'm led to believe. So I guess this was like created for Germans, and then there's just an English voiceover. But other than that, it is pretty good. So let's just continue on. As many businesses in Port Royale produce rum, sugar is always in great demand. Port-au-Prince produces this raw material, so you can easily get it at a good price. Send your convoy to Port-au-Prince, we're already there, and buy sugar at the dock there. This raw material is also produced in Tortuga and on Turk Island. Sell a total of 100 sugar barrels at the dock of Port Royale. Okay, and this just basically the tips, just basic supply and demand principles that they're telling us, which is rather sweet. So let's just buy some sugar now. So we have to find sugar, and there it is. I'm not exactly sure what this little like word escaped me. This little mechanical icon is, but I'm sure it's got something to do with like production or something. And we have to buy 100 barrels, don't we? So we can buy, what's rather smart to do is just not to buy a crap load of them from one place. So let's just buy 55 barrels up here, because the more you buy, the more they cost. So we can buy, actually no, they cost the same up until, actually let's just buy, we can buy 100 straight from up here, can't we? Yeah, let's go 97, because this is how much they cost, the price. So if you buy them all out, they, as you guys can see, cost a heck of a lot. So I think we only need like 3 more as well, don't we? There we go, 3. So now we've got 100 barrels of sugar on our island, on our ship, sorry. So now we got to go back to Port Royale so we can produce some rum with that sugar. Meanwhile, I'll just explain a bit more about this game. We can speed things up if I wanted to, but this is created mainly for the PC of my understanding, but it's also available on Xbox. I'm not sure about the release date on Xbox, but it's also available on Xbox, and it's published by the same guys that published Tropico 4, Calypso Media basically. So there you guys go. Now we have 100 of them. Okay, so sell all of that. Popularity in Port Royale has increased. Fantastic. How much did I sell? Did I even sell 100? Yeah.
Now you know how to earn gold through trading. No matter which path you follow later, never forget that you must keep an eye on prices. Don't worry, you will find that it soon becomes very easy.
Thank you.
And that's important because you will need a lot of gold if you want to achieve a higher rank. Higher ranks open an entire host of new possibilities. I leave you alone for a while now, as I have an interview with the Viceroy. I'll be back soon.
Fantastic. So, your rank is displayed at the top right near your cache. So, this is our rank. We're called the Ship's Boy rank. The higher rank, the more convoys you are able to have, and the more towns you can erect buildings in. Also, that's actually pretty interesting. I haven't seen that gameplay mechanic yet. Also, excuse me while I burp. Also, you can only speak with governors and viceroys after you have reached a certain rank. Next destination. Make yourself familiar with your options over the next few days. Pedro de Vega will get back to you soon. tips. We have some tips, and this just basically explains that this blue bar is our level system, like how far we've leveled up, and up here is our money. So we've got $42,000 basically. I hate it when people use like a dot in between like decimal places. It gets really annoying. But anyway, shows that they're rather old-fashioned, if you ask me. We can zoom back out. It is very, very extensive. We need to like find these places that we could go to first. But I remember playing, I think it was Sid Meier's Pirates. It was almost exactly the same. So now, as you guys can see, these are Spanish-controlled waters, which is nice. It gets interesting like when the Spanish-controlled waters right next to English towns, and that's when you start getting the fights and stuff. So anyway, now they've just let us on our own whim. Currently we only have one ship, that's why we only have like 20 cannons. We have only 250 loading capacity, and that'll be explained very shortly. Like we will get more ships and things of that sort. Let's just go back to Port-au-Prince. Nobody wants anything that we want? Okay. Let's just go into the trading menu, and what about we check, do we have anything on the ship? We don't have anything on the ship, so let's just head over into the town, and I'll show you what the towns look like. They all look different, so none of them look exactly the same, which is really, really cool. So over in this town, they all have different things as well, and you can explore actually quite a bit of it. It's a very, very nicely made game. I'm really, really impressed actually. So we can zoom pretty closely in. Unfortunately, we can't change the angle, so you can only look at this from a bird's eye angle. But we have our tavern, which I think we can bet with other people in here. Seems that there aren't any interesting guests here at the moment, but you can still sit down and spell and recuperate from the stresses of everyday life. There are a couple of spelling mistakes I've noticed, and some like grammatical errors, even though I'm not like some grammar Nazi, but they can, well, this game was created by Germans, I think, so that explains that. Let's check out the church. Here you can enjoy a little quiet and relaxation, and find energy in prayer for your upcoming tasks. Let's just pray. Okay, that's getting a bit freaky. Alright, let's see what the architect will do. You must hold the rank of sailor or higher before you can talk to the architect about building your own buildings in this town. Increase your wealth and the cargo space of your vessels to advance to a higher rank. Can we see what we can build? Oh wow. We can build warehouses, residences, sugarcane. Ah, okay, this is actually pretty interesting. So you can now build different buildings so you can like sell them off to different places. That's really cool. Oh wow, we can big shipyards, a manor. So this is basically where the administrative jurisdiction live, whatever. Let's just head back. We press this button to head back and leave the town. And now we're back to just doing whatever we want. Ooh, looks like pirate controlled waters are over here. So if you guys haven't noticed, this little punching icon over here shows the power or strength of the fleet. This fleet has our fleet that we currently have has absolutely zero power. So we don't want to get into battles with anyone right now, even though I have no idea how to do that. So it looks like, I wonder what this metal, they're short on metal. What's this? Dyers. So it's a really fun economic type of game. Let's see if we can, actually, you know what? I'm just going to speed things up until the guy starts talking to us again, which will be very shortly, I hope.
Very good. We go. That's done. Now we come to ships and convoys. Here you have to remember, single ships have no crews and therefore cannot be sent out. To use a ship, you must either convert it into a convoy or add it to an existing convoy. It then automatically receives the mandatory basic crew. By the way, only one captain is required per convoy, and his skills can improve over time.
Okay, so you've attained the next rank, and now it is time you learn something about the difference between vessels and convoys. Individual free vessels have no crew and cannot be sent out. To use a free vessel, you must first convert, or add it to a convoy. It will then automatically receive the necessary crew. One captain per convoy is always required, so our next destination is, a new vessel awaits you in the harbour of Port Royale. Anchor your convoy in Port Royale and then select it. What if we click on, it just blew there just to tell us it's a port. Then select the harbour master's lighthouse to add the new vessel to your convoy. We can watch a video on that, but the videos are rather lengthy and they're not as exciting as for a Let's Play, at least anyway. So basically our loading capacity will increase. We'll have more cannons as well. Every captain has 6 different attributes which will increase over the course of time. So there's still a lot of gameplay mechanics I still have to learn, so let's just head over to Port Royale really fast. There we go. So we're not the little ship boy or whatever the demeaning name that we were before. We're now a seafarer. Seems like we've unlocked some new treasures. Unfound treasures. Okay. So what we do now is we head over into the actual island. Entering Port Royale. And here we go. Here's the ship that every time you unlock, I think you get a new ship unlocked at Port Royale. So there seems to be a lot of ships here. They're all Spanish as well if you zoom in. There we go. They've got the Spanish flag. Our ones have blue. So this one is the one that we want. It's called Bark or Barch. Let's see what else we have in Port Royale. Got a warehouse. Got a fortress over here as well. Got a tavern. Nothing too different over here. I think we had a town. We didn't have a town palace before though. This is kind of cool.
I offer you the following assignment.
Okay, so we can get assignments from different people, and wow, this is actually a big town. It is such an amazing game. I've really got to give credit to the creators. Like, they really outdid themselves. So now what we do is we click on the Harbour Master. And all we do is click on the left ship. And there we go. Now they've joined up into one fleet.
But now for something completely different. Elena, the daughter of the Spanish viceroy, has a diplomatic mission to New Orleans. The tensions between France and Spain require that she travel as inconspicuously as possible. I therefore suggested to the Viceroy that you would provide her passage. She will board your convoy secretly, which should protect her from potential adversaries.
So the Spanish Viceroy is asking you for a favor. His daughter Elena has to go on a diplomatic mission to the French New Orleans. As relations between Spain and France are strained, she is to travel as inconspicuously as possible. Elena has boarded your convoy, Santa Maria. Take it to New Orleans. If the town is not already marked in your chart, you must first discover it. Okay, so basically she'll just leave us and Naval Charts and Nations. Should we watch this movie? You know what? I'm going to show you just what a movie looks like.
At the beginning of the game, only a few cities are displayed on the chart. You can discover other cities by approaching them with a convoy. The city symbol itself gives an indication of the city's size.
Yeah, okay, you guys get the point. It's pretty boring, especially to watch if you don't want to know what to do. So let's just go back into Leave Town, and as you guys can see, it only shows the biggest ship that I had, so that's the one that I previously had, and we're still a convoy. We have like the 40 cannons now, 500 loading capacity, so that's all good. So we have to go over to New Orleans, which is over here, to speed things up a bit, 10 times faster. And there's all these different places that we need to unlock, like to discover and stuff. So we'll be getting on that. Where is the ship? It's over here. The convoy does not have any... Oh, I accidentally clicked on the other guy. There we go. We're in New Orleans. Unfortunately, you have to be very close to the actual ship itself, but let's head over there.
It sounded like a simple, easy trip to New Orleans, conducting a young woman to a diplomatic meeting. Yet, she does not like the fact that she has to travel with commoners to remain undetected. And she is also unhappy as she suspects the real reason for her meeting with the French Viceroy is simply a chance for him to present his son. The young captain notices her anger and tries to cheer her up, at first in vain, but eventually she laughs, and her radiant eyes burn themselves into his soul. But then she thinks of her mission, and the fact that it is unseemly for a woman of her station to give a common sailor any more attention than is absolutely necessary. And yet, that moment is all it takes for a young man to fall in love with a young woman.
Bum, bum, bum.
Excellent. You've discovered a new city, and Elena arrived safely in New Orleans. We can only hope that her mission is successful, and that relations between France and Spain soon improve. She will stay a while before returning home later with another convoy. Well, you've learned the basics. How it goes from here depends on which path you have chosen.
Okay, dokes. Your introduction to the life of a sailor is now complete, and it is now time for you to begin the exciting life of a trader. I think there's one more cutscene after this. There we go.
The young man tormented by the thought of Elena being forever out of his reach. Even if their paths were to cross again at some point, why should she give him more than a passing glance? After all, he is just a nobody. His chain of thought is interrupted by an excited discussion between two captains at the next table. The Viceroy is looking for an aid for his commercial attaché, Pedro de Vega, to further promote the prosperity and wealth of the Spanish cities and the colonies. It must be fate. If he held the post of aid, he could prove himself to Elena. But it will not be easy to convince the Viceroy. He painstakingly prepares himself for a perfect audience. With his friend's help, he is granted an audience. At first, the Viceroy pays him but little attention, and Elena finds it impudent of this young captain to consider himself capable of such a responsible position. But Pedro de Vega's persuasive arguments lead the Viceroy to take a closer look. He sees the determination burning in the young man's eyes. Finally, he nods.
Couldn't get any cheesier than that.
Congratulations. You've actually managed to convince the Viceroy. He has asked me to help you over the next few weeks and to assign you tasks designed to train you to be my aide. In order to gain a better insight into economic relationships, your first assignment is to increase your social standing. To do so, you must increase both your wealth and the capacity of your ship's cargo holds.
Alrighty, I love how demeaning that guy is to us. I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but in that cutscene we were back to Port Royale, and now in the game we're back to New Orleans. Anyway, he will introduce you to the overall economic context within the new world and will make you familiar with various tasks. Okay, so the Spanish Viceroy that was. So our next destination is increase your wealth to $200,000 and increase the total load capacity of your convoys to at least 400 barrels in order to gain the rank of mariner. And that is kind of an idiotic mission because basically the tutorial missions told us to get a convoy, and the convoy has 500 barrels space at least, so that's kind of dumb. So we just need to get $160,000 more. Yeah, so that's about it for the first mission. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. It's definitely seeming to be a promising game. I'm very excited for it, and well, thanks for watching, guys.